Hey everybody, it's Party Elite, and we're back today with some more Southeast Asian pack DLC animals for Planet Zoo. I am once more very pleased with the end result of today's time-lapse. This has been a really good mini-series actually, as far as sort of the scale of projects we've taken and the rate of completion as well, from a sort of personal perspective at least. I hope you all have been enjoying it as well. Looking through the comments and stuff, it seems to be the case. And I'm really excited for today's massive undertaking as well. You can see we're doing quite a bit of sculpting right off the bat over here because it's a big one. It's a big one. Folks, I just want to mention, if you have been enjoying this mini-series, if you would like to see more like it in the future, please don't hesitate to keep letting me know. Leave a like and a comment down below. It does make a very big difference in just how I approach content on the channel, as I'm sure you're very well aware of by now. I want to mention as well, I've noticed that quite a few of you are watching along but haven't subscribed just quite yet. I understand for many people there's many reasons to not subscribe to a channel. That's perfectly cool, but if you've been enjoying what you're watching and you'd like to keep watching and you'd like to keep up with this channel, then I humbly request that you maybe consider subscribing to the channel as well. With all that said and done, let's dive into the topic at hand. You might be wondering, what am I doing over here? Why so much water? Why this massive beach? And what's going on? What's going on? Well, today we are adding, as I'm sure the title and thumbnail have given away, the Proboscis Monkey. And a very interesting aspect of this primate, in my opinion, is that it swims. And it swims quite a bit. And from my reading before I got into Planet Zoo, before I got into this session today, from my reading, my understanding is that they are actually quite avid swimmers. They like living near the water. They often live, near rivers or lakes or what have you, and they go swimming pretty often. In fact, I read that they even quite enjoy diving into the water off of branches and stuff, and I thought that was hilarious. And so that was very interesting for me. I didn't know I didn't know much about the Proboscis monkey apart from the fact that it exists and it has this, rather iconic nose, I suppose. But beyond that, I didn't know too much. So I did a little bit of sort of just familiarizing myself with the animal. Just I felt like there was when you get a gut feeling that I should look this guy up before I get to work on it. I had that gut feeling, and I'm glad I did, because yeah, turns out the Proboscis monkey is actually, at least to a degree, aquatic. And I thought, why don't we embrace that? Why don't we do something that is a little maybe unexpected or a little different, or otherwise just not the norm for the rest of this miniseries as well. And so I decided to build this little kind of lake, I guess. If you consider its scale, it would be a bit of a lake. And I thought I would kind of nod at some of the typical imagery that you get in Southeast Asia a little bit, as far as those just beautiful. There's a term for them, and I forget it now. There's a term for those extremely small, land masses in giant bodies of water. I forget the term, but it's sort of I'll be fair, I'm being a little I'm broadening my geographical scope a little bit beyond Southeast Asia specifically and where these guys live specifically, but that's where the rule of cool kind of kicks in, right? That's where I was like, well, I think this will be interesting, so let's go with it. But it's not so far off the mark that it's being inspired by, I don't know, the Arctic or something like that. But yeah, so obviously we got to get some waterfalls in here, because can't have this kind of imagery without some waterfalls, right? And not one, but two waterfalls. So how's that? But yeah, so I thought it'd be quite nice to kind of have these little land masses and a large body of water, and if they do swim, then they'd be able to swim here. I thought it'd be nice to actually play around with a quote-unquote artificial color of the water as well. I made it sort of really vibrant, very kind of bright blue, if you will. Maybe it's a little off. I think it could do with some adjusting, but when the water is that blue and it's beautiful and just, it's almost like it's glowing, it's ethereal. That's kind of the vibe I was hoping for. I think it's pretty cool that you can customize the color of the water. I hadn't done it for any of the other enclosures. I only did the base level ones, the preset ones. And so for this, I was like, why not? Why not go for that kind of paradise vibe, that paradise look, as it were. And pretty pleased with how the coloration works out. Messed around with the transparency as well, and it worked out quite nicely. Now, while I'm actually putting the outer limits of this enclosure down, at the time I wasn't sure if Planet Zoo would consider these guys swimmers. I just wasn't sure if it was something that was kept in mind. I also wasn't sure to what degree, I guess they could be considered swimmers. Like how far would they be willing to go in the water and whatnot. So you can see I kind of cut this the lake, if you will, short. But more on that afterwards, after the time lapse. When we actually get the animals in there, we get to see them in action. I do have to make a couple of adjustments, but over here just getting the barrier done, making sure that there's enough, like making sure I have everything I need to work around and work with. Because you'll see, for example, over here, I decide to actually integrate the terrain into the barrier over here. That couldn't be a null. I thought, why not? Why not? We're reaching the end of this mini-series. I believe next session will actually be the last one, if I'm not mistaken. So as we're coming to the close of this mini-series, I thought let's start doing some zanier and zanier stuff. Maybe let's start experimenting a bit more and exploring some sort of big changes, big options. We had the huge hole in the ground. We had the huge mountain. Now we have this massive body of water. So started to play around a little bit, I guess. But yeah, so point being, got the barrier down nice and early here as well, so not only would I have a measurement of the size of the terrain, which I was fairly confident about, but also so I could work around as necessary. As you saw, we kind of just did there. Now over here, the kapok tree can actually not be climbed, so I put a few down, and I will be actually building climbing frames around them so that the monkeys will actually be able to interact with the space and it'll look like they're climbing those trees. I wanted to have that canopy though. I wanted to have that large kind of coverage, because I find, especially with larger enclosures, it really helps fill out the space and it feels a bit more, I guess, natural or realistic, I suppose. Without those kapok trees, it would be a very weird enclosure. It would be like you're looking down into a bunch of bushes, and I felt like it needed that dimensionality, it needed that height to it. And on the topic of height, perfect segue over here, I'm actually building these climbing platforms to give the monkeys access to various height levels in various ways. Now I do have a ramp on the other side that you maybe saw me terraforming in. I imagined at this point that they would use the ramp, yes, but if I built this platform over here, then they would be more likely to use the platform. The monkeys, the keepers, of course, do still have to use the ramp. And here, I'm actually building this out not just for them to climb around the trees, but also because, as I mentioned earlier, or at least I fairly certain I mentioned earlier, they like to dive into the water, the proboscis monkey. So I thought, wouldn't it be neat if we actually caught them climbing, swinging, and then diving into the water? Don't think we catch them swinging over here. I don't think I've actually caught any animal, I can't remember right now, swinging from branch to branch or from climbing log to climbing log. And I would very much like to see that. Again, that's just from my reading. I read that they enjoy swinging from branch to branch, and they enjoy diving into the river and into rivers and whatnot. And that's a big part of what or a big part of what drove, this time lapse, this enclosure was some of that reading. Here again, just making some more platforms that they might want to climb on top of, just giving them some variety, I guess. Not necessarily wanting to build them just one singular jungle gym or one singular climbing platform, but just a variety. Have them run around a bit more, have them explore the space a bit more, maybe go out for a swim, come out, bask in the sun. There's some varieties of spice of life, right? So why shouldn't these monkeys have some? And then now just kind of putting down the feeding platforms and all that kind of stuff, making sure it's convenient to keep filled. All in all, I mean, I'm very pleased with the overall kind of experience I think that the animals are going to have in this space. I'm quite pleased with the visual kind of layout as well, off in the distance. But right over here at the end, I was like, you know what? It's a bit of a shame that people aren't also able to see from a ground level. Now, there is the path next to the bears that we'll be making into a viewing point as well. But I was thinking about from this angle as well, where you can see those islands off in the distance. So here's a little trick that I learned, a couple of sessions ago now, that I got a bit more comfortable with. I shouldn't say learned. This was always the theory in my head that okay, this is how it would work, but I never bothered to try it out. And then I finally kind of got comfortable with the angles and whatnot. And so here we have another sort of sloped path taking people to this underground viewing point. I just thought it'd be nice to have a more intimate, I guess, up close and personal viewing angle. There's something to be said about being at or next to eye level versus looking down or up at an animal. So here, you get a bit of both. And again, using the idea of verticality, not just for the animal, but for the guest as well. Now, whether the guests actually use this space or not, that's irrelevant for the Sandbox Zoo, but, with a proper placement of like food and washrooms and things like that, you could probably force or draw, I should say, guests pretty much wherever. But yeah, putting down a glass barrier over here so it's safe viewing, putting down some rocks as well to better integrate the glass and the cave, if you will, into the enclosure. And then we'll adjust the terrain a little bit as well to make sure that it blends in a bit more nicely. But overall, I believe there are just a couple of tweaks here and there that I'll be making, but this is basically the impetus of the enclosure. This is more or less the entirety of it. I do hope you enjoyed watching its preparation. I hope the sort of the pre-researched approach was appreciated as well, I guess. Let me know your thoughts as always. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your opinions, your feelings, what you would do differently, what you wish I'd done differently. And for now, though, back to regular speed. Alright, folks, we are back from the time lapse, and what a wild one that actually was. Went all out with double the waterfalls this time around. Not one, but two waterfalls. Almost put in a third over here, I'm not going to lie to you. That was very much on the back of my mind. In fact, it was on the forefront of my mind, but then I decided against it. I thought two was enough for one day. But apart from the waterfalls, I'm pretty excited to see how the animals actually interact with this space. I've tried to sort of make a faux climbing tree over here. We'll see if it works, and then we might tweak it a bit to make it feel a bit more realistic, as it were, like bring some support beams in and whatnot. But the kapok tree actually cannot be climbed, so I've put in these climbable posts or beams or what's the game actually call them? Logs. There we go. I knew it would come to me eventually, but logs. These climbable logs have been put through, so they might actually climb, adjacent to the tree, and maybe even make their way all the way out over here. On my readings before I actually got into the time lapse, I read, and I might have mentioned this during the time lapse as well, but I read that the proboscis monkey actually likes to dive into water. And I was like, well, that's interesting. What I might do is I might make this a little bit deeper, actually, so it's a bit safer for it to actually dive in here from that height. I don't know. I don't know if that's even a thing they're going to consider doing. I don't know if there's an animation for that or what have you, but it'd be quite neat to see them actually go into the water. Now, they swim as well, so if I see them swimming, I'll experiment with making this deeper and seeing if they actually want to dive into this. Because if they don't swim, which is what I assume is going to happen, is that they're actually not going to interact with the water beyond drinking, then I'm fairly certain it's a safe bet that they're not going to dive off branches or faux branches into the water either. But we'll see, I suppose. We'll see. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and bring in the this thrown off my own rhythm over here. Let's not bring in the animal just yet. Let's take a look at the Zoopedia entry of the proboscis monkey and then kind of get an understanding of what we're looking at, I guess. Trying to find a better way to phrase it there, but no real options. Just want to mention again, folks, as I'm doing this, that if you've been enjoying this series, this little mini series, if you'd like to see more like it down the line when more DLC comes out and things like that, please don't hesitate to let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. Again, it makes a very big difference in how I approach stuff on the channel. What I do, what I don't do, how I go about doing it. So let me know. Leave a like, leave a comment, give me your feedback, and I'll adjust my approach accordingly. Again, that's why we're doing the proboscis monkey separate to the Malayan tapir, as I was kind of originally planning. It's because of what I saw in the comments and sort of the preferences and the justifications or the explanations or arguments, I guess, put forth in the comments kind of convinced me. So, I try to be very, interactive, I guess is the word in that sense, where I look at the feedback and I take it all into consideration. So do keep it coming. And again, if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing as well. And again, also, if you haven't got the DLC yet, you can do so at the link in the description down below, and you'll support the channel as you pick it up. Anyway, with all that said and done, let's go ahead and dive on in, shall we? Very excited to see these guys in action and see how they interact with not just the space, but each other as well. The proboscis monkey. Nasalis larvatus. I'm obviously butchering that pronunciation. I'm no Latin speaker, but I cannot help but see the word nasal in there, and please tell me that is in fact the root for nose or something nose related. It's gotta be, right? Like, who looked at this monkey and didn't think to prioritize the nose reference somewhere in its name, right? In its scientific name. I imagine these are quite intelligent animals. I imagine they're all likely to be quite smart. Imagine each and every one knows quite a lot. God, that was totally worth it. Ugh. They are endangered, unfortunately. Jokes aside. Population in wild is sub 10,000. That's scary. 7,000. Anytime I see less than 10,000 for an animal, I always just like, my heart like drops, just, like half a millimeter. Just drops a little bit. Like, damn, less than 10,000. Can you imagine? Now, they're not very widespread or anything, so, they are, I guess, it's not like they're globally there's only, globally there's only 7,000 of them, but they wouldn't live around the world anyway, so it's important to keep that in mind, but still, like 7,000 is next to nothing, all things considered. The proboscis monkey is a species of primate that lives in the rainforests, mangroves, and swamp forests of the Isle of Borneo, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Brunei. The monkeys have dark orange fur on their backs and the top of their heads, paler orange fur on their chests, stomachs, and upper arms, and gray fur on their lower bodies, legs, and forearms. Males have a distinctive elongated nose that hangs down over their lip. Females do not have this pronounced feature, although their noses are still quite prominent for primates. Yeah, when I read does not have this pronounced feature, I was like, well, that's not entirely true. It's still pronounced, it's just different. It's not as pronounced, but, it's different, and you'll see. I imagine when we get the monkeys in, you'll see what I mean. But yeah, so males and females differ in size, with males being an average height of 26.4 inches to 30.4 inches and weighing between 35.2 and 49.5 pounds, and females measuring between 21.2 and 24.8 inches in height and weighing between 15.4 and 26.4 pounds. All right, okay, so from a height measurement perspective, they're relatively close-ish, but the weight disparity is huge. The heaviest average female is 9 pounds approximately lighter than the lightest male proboscis monkey, on average, obviously. So it's a decent disparity. The proboscis monkey is endangered, mainly due to the amount of deforestation that occurs to create oil palm plantations. Do they mean palm oil? Is this something else? Palm oil plantations is what they mean, right? I think so. That occurs to create, I'm pretty sure it's palm oil plantations on the island of Borneo. They are also hunted as a local delicacy in some areas, and their body parts are sought after for traditional medicine. Proboscis monkeys are protected throughout Borneo. It is illegal to hunt or capture them. Their habitat is protected in some areas, but deforestation is still occurring at a rapid rate, often illegally. Yep, every time you pop open a jar of Nutella, you can think about about this situation. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken, but if I look at the orangutan over here, do they not have the same kind of situation? Because they're in Borneo as well. I feel like I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Fairly certain they are suffering from the same causes of deforestation. Here it just says habitat loss and fragmentation caused by deforestation, but they don't specifically mention. Yeah, I'm fairly certain it's a common cause, but nonetheless, back on topic here, proboscis monkey, natural habitat. Again, very kind of like concentrated. I don't know if they'd ever lived in other areas as well, like in some of the other islands or anything like that, but very, very concentrated at present at least. And they are among the only aquatic primates. So again, in my like kind of reading going into this episode, I read up about how they like to dive into the water, how they like to swim, how they like to interact with the water quite a bit. And I thought that was really quite fascinating and quite, I guess, different, which is why I hope I talked about this in the time lapse, but why the enclosure has taken the shape and form that it has taken. So I am really hoping that we see some of that kind of interactivity. Now, based on my reading, these guys typically go in for some swimming as well, like some deep dive swimming, not just like surface level, wading or whatever. But that doesn't seem to be reflected over here. Now, it's different to say there are no deep water requirements versus having an animal be able to use the deep water. So, I'm not going to write it off right now, but I do wonder if we'll see some of that, like deep diving and whatnot. I'm a little concerned, I'm not going to lie, about the climbing requirements. Again, it's always kind of hard to ascertain if I've hit the right number. But worst case scenario, we can expand some of their climbing very easily. And I'm more than certain we are more than okay for their basic land requirement. I'd be shocked if we don't have 400 meters square over here. As far as species data is concerned, the group size is 3 to 19, up to 9 males, up to 18 females. So we'll get a decent number of animals in here, I think. Increase the likelihood of getting a baby as well. Very curious what their babies look like. The male bachelor group size, excluding juveniles, is 3 to 12. The female bachelor group size, excluding juveniles, again, it's the same as well. Dominance, there is 1 alpha per group. Presumably, since it didn't specify, it would be an alpha pair. Or is it, I'm pretty sure it's an alpha male with a bunch of, like, females, but I could be wrong. I'm just basing it on what I'm reading here, because it hasn't specified. Mating system is polygynous. Oh, well, there you go, I guess. You pair those two together. Relation with humans is confident, but guests cannot enter the habitat, for understandable reasons. Size, on average, for males is 28.4 inches long, and for females is 23.2 inches long. I can't help but, like, attribute that measurement to the nose. Life expectancy is 21 years across the board. Weight is 41.8 pounds on average for males and 20.9 on average for females. Again, a pretty big discrepancy. In fact, literally double. Literally double. Huh. Yikes. Sexual maturity at 5.5 years, so a little far along compared to some of the other animals in this pack, I think, if memory serves me right. Sterility at 20 years and 1 offspring per mating event, with gestation being 6 months, interbirth being 12 months, and reproduction captivity being easy. Now, before I start reading all this, I'm gonna throw out the question. Get your bets in. Do you think the nose plays an integral role in the mating ritual, as it were, of the proboscis monkey? Just get your bets in. If you know the answer, that's different. But if you don't know, just take a guess. I enjoy looking at animal behavior, because you consider something like, I don't know, the birds that make nests to impress their potential mates, right? The more grandiose, so the larger the nest, the more interested the mate tends to be. Like you find patterns like that, and you use those patterns, and it's fun, for me at least, it's fun to be like, okay, well, let's see what kind of patterns this animal might have, and then see how close or far off you were. But I don't know, maybe it's just the nose. It's just funny looking. What do you want me to say? Social needs. Proboscis monkeys are social animals and live in bands in the wild. This band is often divided into smaller subgroups made up of related females, and their offspring, and 1 alpha male. Yeah, there you have it. I hadn't read polygynous before I started questioning what it means by 1 alpha per group. Males live together in groups until they become mature enough to become the alpha male of a group of females. Reproduction. All right. The alpha male is usually the only one who mates with their females in the group. Okay. So usually the only one. Interesting. The only one who mates with the females in his group, although subordinate males from bachelor groups may attempt to court females. Okay, so subordinate males from other bachelor groups then. So from his own band, it'll only be the alpha, which sort of checks out, I guess. During courtship, the male may vocalize at the females, and the female may present her hindquarters to the male. Both may initiate courtship by pouting at each other. Population lasts around 30 seconds. After a gestation of 166 to 200 days, the female will give birth to a single offspring. Female proboscis monkeys are extremely protective of their newborn and are unlikely to let any other monkey in the group help care for the infant. Oh, okay, interesting. So compared to, I think just last time, we were talking about how, maybe it was last time, it was 2 times ago, we were talking about how oh, look at this animal, very much, it takes a village to raise a child and whatnot, whereas this is the polar opposite. This is stay away from my baby. So interesting. Okay, the female will carry the newborn on her body for the first few weeks of its life until it can walk on its own. Weaning occurs between 6 weeks and 7 months old. At around 1 year old, the juvenile will begin distancing itself from its mother and gain more independence. Females reach sexual maturity at around 4 years old and are likely to remain with their natal group, although some do leave to join other groups. Male proboscis monkeys will leave their natal group at around 5 years old and join a group of other young males. They will reach full maturity at around 7 years old. At this time, they may acquire their own harem of females by ousting an older mature male or gathering a group of females without an alpha male. Okay, interesting. So, females reach maturity. Okay, although some do leave to join other groups. I'm just trying to figure out, when do you end up, is it just when the male dies, you just have a group of females that doesn't have an alpha male? And then one kind of swoops in, I guess, is the way to put it. By the way, alpha males will only remain with a group of females for 6 to 8 years before leaving, or being ousted by a rival male. This is to prevent inbreeding. Oh, look at the natural checks and balances. You gotta, sometimes you look at how like things work in nature and you just go like, okay, yeah, makes sense. However, it's still interesting to see the natural checks and balances. But okay, cool. So I guess the alpha male moves on, then the female. So if the alpha male moves on without being ousted, then that female group becomes a bachelor group, and a new male might, step in and take charge, as it were. Cool. Okay. Interesting. The nose did not feature, so, who knows what its purpose is. Hopefully we'll find out when we take a look at the fun facts. But that's a very peculiar evolutionary trait. You expect it to have some value or purpose. It could just be, that's not entirely true. God knows we have a lot of useless evolutionary traits in our bodies, so why not every animal we look at as well? It might be, it might be entirely useless. I'm curious. All right, let's take a look at these fun facts and whatnot. So, diet, not too much to look at over here. Habitat enrichment, again, nothing too special, nothing unique to these guys. And food enrichment as well, nothing too unique to these guys, which again feels a little unfortunate. So again, fact check me if I've got this wrong, but again, based on my reading, my understanding is that they do like to, as I was saying, dive into the water. So, why not have like a diving board habitat enrichment or something? Like, yeah, okay, maybe it's a little cheeky. Maybe make it a diving branch instead or something, but there's just an opportunity there that I feel like is missed, perhaps. But hey, looking at fun fact number 1, proboscis monkeys have webbed toes and are good swimmers. So the game is aware and does keep in mind, and I am not mistaken in remembering that they are good swimmers, yes. The proboscis monkey is a very vocal species, with group members often calling to each other to bond, relay information, or initiate mating. Fair enough. Fun fact number 3, alpha male proboscis monkeys make alarm calls to warn their group members of nearby danger. Right. Fun fact number 4, here we go. The large nose of the male proboscis monkey allows it to make louder vocalizations. Which in turn increases the likelihood of attracting females. Yes! I knew it! It had to be. It had to be, right? There it is. So I find it kind of funny that it wasn't mentioned over here. Like, it's so shortened over here. This entire paragraph lasts around 30 seconds, where it's like the male may vocalize at the females. It's like the male vocalizes at the females, and proboscis monkeys with a larger nose are able to vocalize, more loud. I'm like writing on the fly over here. This is terrible writing. Don't write like this. But, it should have been in there. But I understand keeping it aside to make it a fun fact. Fine, whatever. But all right, I'm glad that I'm glad that I wasn't way off there. So the large nose helps it be louder, and because it's louder, it will be more likely to attract a female. So not exactly. It's not a visual aspect. It's a phonic aspect, but the sound is a result of the larger nose. Well, okay, cool. There you have it. The proboscis monkey has a pot belly due to their stomach acting like that of a ruminant and breaking down tough to digest plant matter. I'm gonna need more information there. What do you mean? Because anytime I hear pot belly, it's just like, okay, so the proboscis monkey works a desk job and drinks a lot of beer. That's what I'm understanding here. But that's not what it says in the second half of this fun fact. You know what? If anybody knows better, inform me in the comments. I do love reading through them, but I'll look this up as well, like exactly what kind of animal tends to have a quote-unquote pot belly. Interesting. You are a fascinating creature, aren't you? You are a fascinating creature. Decent fun facts this time around, I would say. I'd like a bit more. 1 could be a bit meatier, I suppose. 3 also feels like, yeah, okay, I guess not all animals call out to warn danger and whatnot. Yeah, these are decent. These are decent. These are pretty good. And interspecies enrichment, again, the Indian elephant and the Malayan tapir. But we're not doing a mixed habitat over here. We're doing a solo habitat, which hopefully we'll see some good use. Also, I just gotta say, I'm really excited to have figured out how to do this kind of a ramp thing. I'll definitely be doing it a lot more at in our franchise mode playthroughs now that I can make these, because I never quite liked how the suspended paths looked. There was like okay, and I'd always have to put like rocks underneath them and stuff to make them work. But now this is a new tool, a new power that I have that I will most certainly be taking advantage of. Anyway, let's go ahead and get the animal in here, shall we? Animal trading, animal market. We're looking for the proboscis. Where you at? Know where my P? There we go. Proboscis Monkey. Click that. Confirm. It's just so weird. It's still weird. And I guess we could pick up 2 females and a male, right? Go and grab you. Let's go ahead and grab you. And during the time lapse, by the way, at one point, I needed to get time going so I could see what the waterfalls were going to look like. And at that point in time, we saw that our leopards are now pregnant. So exciting times. We will hopefully see a baby clouded leopard sometime soon. I also need to get this water clean. I need to remember that. I'll figure out where to plan the thing in just a moment. Let's go ahead and get these guys into quarantine first. Go ahead and Proboscis Monkey here. All 3 of you, move you to quarantine. Yep. Go ahead and unpause. As that's happening, we'll go ahead and get this sorted out over here. So what I'd probably do is, again, it's just kind of like temporary. Pardon the kind of rough around the edges elements over here, mainly because this is a showcase zoo and not the zoo, as it were, like not one of our franchise zoos. But why don't we go ahead and... I don't know why I had to make it this way, but I did. Here we are. Pop you over to there. And I get... I'm sure if I put one down over here, it'll be good. It's funny as well to me how different this zoo looks now. It's come such a ridiculously long way from the aquatic DLC. I was talking about this last session as well, but then after I did today's session, I was just like, oh man, I thought it looked different when we had a little mountain over there, and now we have this entire like coastal region. All these, you know, trees. It's just absolutely wild. I mean, the next DLC that comes out, if you guys have enjoyed this and we continue this zoo with the next DLC, I will have to expand in this direction, I suppose, right, to make sure we kind of balance the zoo out. I think it'd be fun. It's got some interesting shapes as well. I quite like some of the shapes that we've got going on over here. You know. Anyway, what was I looking at over here? The clouded leopard. If we're lucky as well, we will see it use the hammock. But at least we are guaranteed a baby. Come on. Here you are. August of year 16. That is like now. It is August of year 16. Oh, here we go. There's that moonwalk again. Oh, a little different one this time. Fair enough, fair enough. There's got to be something with, like, this tree or something that's causing it to do that. Why does it not say offspring imminent? August, year 16. Oh, yeah. It's still not imminent. Fair enough. Serious injury discovered. Honestly, I feel like my easy sandbox mode game has had more, like, vet issues and injuries and things like that than my actual franchise mode game. I guess part of the reason for that is that I pay more attention to all that stuff. Whoa. Jump the baby out of you, or so we're less likely to see those kinds of situations. But injuries, I mean, typically. Anyway, all right, come on, come on, come on, come on. I was trying to coax this baby out. Sit down, have a baby. Looking for a nice cozy spot where the stone is cold and comfy, I guess. Baby time. Yes. Oh my god, are you not a cutie? And there's 2 of them. They are so beautiful. I do quite like how they look. The coats are gorgeous. Question becomes, are these guys able to escape? Always the question. Looks like they are not. Good. Properly closed off. Oh, hello. Look at that. All just like... Hilarious. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. They can, like, walk on this extremely thin piece of, stone wall to get out of here. Come on. Here we go. I just don't want to have to deal with escapes while we're in the middle of looking at our new animals. We good? Yeah, we're good. Cool. That guy's happy. Alright, we'll see if we can't catch them like playing or anything at one point in today's session or the next one after. But for now, let's go ahead and get these guys, get the stars of today's show into their enclosure. Well, let's get them moving at least. While they're doing that, let's go ahead and spend some more time with these leopards. I see they gain their magical floating and moonwalking talents at an early age. Must be genetic. What are you up to, buddy? Oh my god, yes, pounce. Do it. Do it. Play. Do something. Are you like chasing a butterfly that doesn't exist? That animation feels almost like you know, like a spotted a bug or something and the bug flew away. Except it's like indoors. Not to say bugs can't get indoors, but you know, there were no bugs. Those ears, those very slight like tremors, are so well done. Yeah, though, like they're so well done. Look at that, like at the legs and stuff as well. I really wonder what the process is for animating these guys. And, you know, trying to like make sure all the animations blend together nicely and everything. It's not going to be an easy task. There we go. Guys are marching in. Monkeys en route. We'll see if this brings guests out this way. And the Malayan tapir will be in this general area as well, right? Can I not select you? There we go. Call the keeper, and I believe... Yeah, it's been pointed out to me that staff traversable area can now be seen, so good way to check. Hey, buddy. Yeah, so there's the female. You can see what I mean in terms of the nose is still very distinct. Like, I wouldn't say it's any less distinct than the male's nose. Yes, the male's nose is much bigger, but you can definitely see the relation between the two, the male and the female. Alright, are you guys able to escape? And are you guys able to climb everything as needed? Traversable area. Oh, don't do this to me, game. Go ahead and pause here for a second. So, they are willing to swim. Excellent. Okay. That is both good and bad. It is bad because it means that we have to make some adjustments here. It is good because, well, not only did I sort of come prepared for that, but it also means we'll be able to see some interesting stuff. Alright, cool, fantastic. Very glad to see that that's the case. Alright. But because that's the case, like I said, gotta make some adjustments here. I really wish when you did a null barrier, it wouldn't be so, like, limiting. Yeah, escape, whatever. Like, it stops you from just placing it down wherever. It's like, just let me put it down wherever. Like, the brain doesn't matter. Go. This is a huge space. Which, obviously, most of it they don't have access to, but... Like, how am I supposed to... Can I hook up? Yeah, I can. Okay, great. Wonderful. Then over here, let's go ahead and... make all that into glass. And raise it up. I was actually kind of tempted to make this path come out this way. I don't know why I didn't do it during the time lapse, but... So now... Come on. What's my width here? 8. Guests can come up over here. You can see the monkey from a few different angles. We're willing to navigate some of these trees. Nudge this over a little bit. nudge this over a touch. Supposed to be a bush, right? Yeah, this is another spot to watch from. Cool, alright, okay. Let's go ahead and... There's more adjustments to make, though. So, what was the deal here? Oh, I see. That's fair. Gotta nudge that over. And that might be it. Go ahead and unpause real quick. Looks like we're not good, no. They can actually get out over here. Okay, that's because of this terrain not being steep enough. That gives them access to everything. And this, they're just able to climb over. Okay, so let's go ahead and... Ooh. Okay. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. You make something complex, it's going to be complicated, right? Alright, keep pulling you back. At least adjusting this is a lot easier than it was when placing it. When placing it, it was being so restrictive of like where I can put these pieces down versus not. Can I? Yeah, looks like we're good there. Alright. And over here, they can actually climb onto these. So let's go ahead and pull you back. Let's get rid of this. You guys are useless now. Right? Free up our panel length and whatnot. Come on. Let's see if that does the trick, I guess. This should do the trick. I imagine that's okay. Was there any other spot? I don't... Oh, right. Right. The entire second level. Yes, there was another spot. Go ahead and flat the foundation. I quite like how kind of like rugged this looked. I would like to keep some of that happening here. But I understand there's like limitations. Let's see if that does the trick. Go ahead and unpause. I'd like to spend more time with the actual animal. Oh, come on now. This is still... Alright. How about now? Still there? Alright, how about now? Still. Are you kidding me, man? How are you? Monkeys, they can jump, eh? Up over here. That's part of the problem too, okay. Alright, that looks like it did it there. Up over here, still have a bit of a problem. Why don't we go ahead and do this? That should solve that. Yep. Go with a smooth brush ever so slightly. Cool. Alright. Now let's watch these animals. Watch these monkeys. It looks like they've actually animated the nose to like bounce and jiggle and wiggle and stuff as well. So that's pretty funny. I wonder if... Oh. I wonder if it is animated individually or if it is if it's got like an effect applied to it, so to speak. Like when you animate things... This is an oversimplification, keep in mind. But when you animate things like this nose, there are a couple of ways you can go about doing it. One is by, you know, putting a bone in, so to speak. I mean, in a digital sense, you put a bone in and you animate that bone around, so much like you would do, you know, an arm or a leg or what have you. Like the tail. Oh, hey, two-way elevator. All right, cool. Like the arm or the tail, for example, definitely has multiple little like bones in it as far as the game is concerned. And they are then sort of animated separately to make motion happen. What's going on over here? How did you... Stop it. Raise this up a bit, maybe? Raise this up a bit. And raise this up a bit. Sure. Right. So, back to the task at hand. Right, so, yeah, so, like, there's multiple bones, again, that dictate how the arm moves, the legs move, everything. With stuff like the nose, though... Wow, I'm so glad we were there for that. Now, is that the mating animation? I assume that is the mating animation. Yeah, a little bit of what's it called? Like flea picking or what have you. All right, fair enough. Cool. Baby guaranteed very soon. That's nice. So back on what I was talking about is like with something like the nose, you could either have like a bone sort of drive the movement of the nose. My first one. Or what you can do is you can make the nose a soft body. And you get like rigid bodies, you get soft bodies, you get all kinds of stuff, and you like basically you can tell what kind of physics settings to give this thing, and it will behave accordingly. It will oh, you escaped here, have you? How did you get out there? You like glitched through. Let's see what's going on over here. Follow one of these guys out or something. But yeah, so you can basically dictate its behavior based on the based on the physics properties you've given it, and then what happens afterwards is like as you like if the head jiggles, let's say, then the nose, if the head shakes back and forth, then the nose will have its like root point at the head, and the rest of it will jiggle around because, you know, it's using like physics simulations and stuff. Be like, all right, well, if you know, if my origin point was to stay still like this, then my, you know, over the length of this like body or mesh or item or what have you, this is how I would jiggle around. So you don't really have to do everything manually. You don't have to put keyframes for every single step of the way. Anyway, all that to say this, I'm curious which method they took with something like the nose, for example, and not just for the proboscis monkey, but for other animals where it's relevant as well. Like, I just wonder what was the like what the thought process is and what the logical approach is. I always get curious about these kind of things, so I'm just wondering out loud, I guess. Got your nice little like cave over here that you're exploring, buddy. You know what? I'm very glad to see that they are able to swim, because it was a big part of everything I kind of like read up about them. So I kind of went in unknowingly, like with uncertainty of like, is this going to work? Are they actually going to use the water? Is it going to be worth anything? Am I wasting my time? Am I making a space they're not going to navigate? And you know what? Here we are. So this is quite exciting. Okay. Now the question remains, will they dive? I suspect if they're able to swim here, they'd be able to dive here. You're trying to get out of here? Ah, I see. You are trying to get out of here, aren't you? Alright. Nice try, buddy. Nice try. Well, this is a very suspicious movement detected over here. Guy's up to something. He's up to some monkey business. And I was right. Alright, let's go ahead and put down the glass barrier here as well. That should seal that off. And it looks like it actually, there's a bit of a... There we go. Oh, God. I actually haven't even had a chance to check. They love their space, more than enough climbing area as well. Environment's okay. A couple of trees that are just outside they're not big fans of. They're from this shared space. Again, it's because I can't... There we go. It's because I can't... Yeah, it's because the barrier has to go out so far out. But it doesn't seem to be upsetting them too much, I don't think. Temperature's a problem, though. Oh, interesting. Okay. They want 17 to 42. Must be the water. Must be the water. Alright, so let's go ahead and get you down over here. 25 should be fine, right? What am I looking for here? Right. Yeah, 25 should be fine. We'll see what that does for us. Where'd these guys go? Where'd these guys go? Nice to see guests actually coming over this way. Oh, here we are. So one more thing I wanted to check here was... climbing. Yeah, they're able to climb here. Good. Good. Cool. We'll see what they get up to. The, oh, now it completely slipped my mind. That's something I wanted to mention, now it slipped my mind. not the end of the world. I'm sure if it's important, it'll come to me. I want to see if they are willing to go deeper into the water further out there. This is great, though. I'm really actually quite glad, like I was saying, that they're just using all this space. I was a little concerned, but no, this is great. Over here, just kind of chilling, just vibing. Ah, so pleased I caught that. Always gotta be on the lookout for these kinds of moments. Look at this, like, pensive monkey over here. They're gonna interact, right? It's gotta be an interaction animation. Right? He wasn't just miming grooming her. I love the little shake. Oh god, it makes me think of the Gungans from Star Wars, like the prequel trilogy. Lower this thing down a little bit there. Really like these guys to climb around and stuff as well. Oh, that was actually an interaction with the already pregnant female. I was actually just wondering, like, it'd be nice to see... I don't know if, you know, out in the wild, animals treat their pregnant differently. I imagine yes. You know, oh, what a jump. I imagine yes, so I would like to see that reflected a little bit. I feel like that's one of the big things that would be nice to see more of, is like... just unique animal interactions, I guess, is the way to put it. Just like the koala baby being born is a great example, right? Like, it's a unique animation specific to one animal, specific circumstances. Same with the kangaroo, like with the joey being born. This animation could use some work. Okay, I just... damn, I wish the arm wasn't slipping through there. There was something about the way the male, like, looks over the shoulder of the female. There was just, like, something about that shot. Like, it's a really cool shot. I feel like I could compose it better. But yeah, so... that's one of the improvements I would like to see, you know, moving forward, if not with Planet Zoo, then with Planet Zoo, which I imagine is an inevitable... Planet Zoo 2. In my head, I just said Planet 2. Which I imagine that's an inevitability, but, like, it would be nice to see more of that kind of unique behavior, not just from an animation perspective, but also from just, like, a behavioral perspective, right? Like, we read so much about, like, yes, they are very protective of their young, or the young will live on the mother's back for 6 months until... And none of that actually happens in the game, which is a little unfortunate. I would like to see some of that stuff actually be reflected in the game. I just feel like there's a missed opportunity there. Man, they climb fast. I like watching them climb. I wish they would climb a bit more like some of the other spaces as well. Having a little... Oh, no. Alright, of course. Fair enough. The face he made, I was just like, whoa, okay. Oh. I love how they move, actually. These guys move so quickly. You cannot escape here. There we go. That's right. The male has just left? Yeah. They're very interested in this, like, one specific log, eh? Oh. No. I was really hoping to see this one go down that way, but nope. Oh, hey. Using a different log. Nice. You're gonna... Come on. Nope. Just chilling. Look at that pose, too. Look at these poses they strike. They're a fun animal. They're a very fun animal. Look at that. Where's my baby? July of this year. All right, not too far away then. Not too far away. We have a couple of issues cropping up here and there. A lot of these, a lot of the seals and stuff are getting stressed out, and I'm not sure why. July of this year. So, next handful of days, we'll have company. Just weird that the animation glitches out like that. I imagine it's supposed to be the back. Come on, I made you so many more spots to climb. They don't sit still for a second, eh? They don't sit still for a second. I was like, oh yeah, this is a nice shot of the monkey looking out and staring at the waterfalls, looking at those trees, wondering if it can climb them. I quite like how the space has turned out. I like the vistas from it and stuff as well. Come on. Yes, that's right. Sit down. There we go. Thank you. Yeah. Monkey deep in thought. Look at that guy. And then like 10 seconds later he's gone. Wild. Alright, where's my baby? Where's my baby? Which one of you has my baby? You. Gray seals are having some trouble as well. Move you to the trade center. There we go. Back out over here. Babies. I think I see them. Yep. Now you are interesting to look at. That is a baby proboscis monkey. That is a male baby proboscis monkey. And the nose is very tiny. Yeah, it makes sense when you're young, you're not as intelligent. So monkey knows very little. As it grows older and has more life experiences and a formal monkey education, you'll know more. God. Oh my god, he's like, his head is the size of this turd. They're tiny in comparison. Well, it's hard to say really. That's kind of part of the reason why I would like to see more of the actual process of you know, from childbirth to adulthood. I would like to see, oh yeah, for the first 6 months the baby's on the mother's back, and for the next 3 months it is, you know, it's weaned or what have you, and for the next 5 months the alpha male beats up any monkey that looks at the baby sideways. Like, I want to see all that kind of stuff in action. I want to see it both visually and from a mechanical perspective. Oh, nice. This is a very good log. I see why they like this log so much. This is the size of the thing. He's tiny. He's tiny. You can, like, barely navigate the space. It's such a long climb for this guy. They're actually not at all using the ramp, which I'm not surprised by. Kind of had a feeling they would do that. I was just curious to see if it would work or not, like if they would do both or not. But like, why use the ramp when you're just able to climb up, right? Like, why wouldn't you just climb up? Alright, well, this guy seems to be having a good time. I hope you had a good time. If you did, you know what to do. Let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below, folks. As always, it makes a very big difference in, you know, how I approach content on the channel, what I do, what I don't do, what I focus on. Just let me know what you guys are interested in. And as this monkey, oh my, didn't even wait for literally a second for me to get a picture there. Not even a second. Joke's on you. One of us can freeze time. As I was saying, that monkey enjoys that space like no other monkey has yet. It is time to call it a session. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I certainly did. This is an interesting. It was an interesting animal to look at. It was an interesting animal to explore, and it was an interesting space to make as well. And I'm very glad to see that they are able to navigate the aquatic spaces and whatnot, and they are able to swim and go into like the deeper water and whatnot. They don't go so far into this, but I guarantee you, if there was an escape route, they would. Such is the nature of animals in Planet Zoo, I suppose. But folks, like I was saying, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, you know what to do. It does make a very big difference in just letting me know. And again, if you haven't picked the DLC up just quite yet, if you do it at the link in the description down below, it helps the channel out. And if you're not yet a subscriber, as many of you aren't actually, I can see that quite a percentage of you are non-subscribers. If you've been enjoying the channel, if you've been enjoying the content, maybe consider subscribing. As always, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big ol' thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time. Cheers.